Okay, hello. So today we're going to be talking about Jonathan Anderson. Jonathan Anderson is the creative director at Dior now, and I will get into that later of why I chose Jonathan Anderson, who is Jonathan Anderson, why am I obsessed with him now when I didn't really know of him before. Jonathan Anderson. Before that, get closer. Get closer. Come. Listen to me. There are things that I'm gonna say to you guys. A couple of things that I've realized recently, and hopefully that will resonate to you, or something, maybe it's something you needed to hear recently, or you're going through the same thing that I did. So, listen up, children. Come closer. I'm getting closer. The camera is not getting closer to me. First thing first. You go through expansion, growth, rebirth, all throughout your life. You're doing that all the time, right? Things are changing, you're changing, you're outgrowing things that you used to like before. So that applies to friends. You can outgrow or change from your old friends. And if you want to, if you have this inkling that your old friends, your old crew are not vibing with you anymore, it's not what you want now, like you've experienced more, you've experienced better, different things, you're vibing at different levels, then let go of your old friends if you have that inkling. And that's normal. That's natural way of life. You change, and the things that were around you don't work anymore. So you got to change those things. You're a different person than you were before. So those friends are not feeling the best for you. So then let go of your friends. And if you feel bad about it and do it. But I don't. Okay, and that's completely fine also. That's a really important lesson I personally experienced because, I have heard these things before where on social media, people talk about letting go of old people, letting go of friends or yada, yada. You don't really know until it resonates with you. You don't really know until you actually go through it in your life and you feel it in this physical realm. So if you're not going through it now, that's fine. But whoever resonates with it, resonates with it. Second thing, if you have this vision, if you're this big, huge vision, not everyone has to have it. Everyone can just be okay with the way their lives are, and that's completely normal and fine. If you have this big vision, and if you're taking on a path or going on a path that people around you, your family, your friends, no one has gone on before, then you don't have support. And you don't have this example of what to do, this laid out path for you. Like getting a 9-to-5 job or, going to college and then getting a job, yada, yada. You do have this vague idea of what you should do and then the next steps, right? Because that is the most common path for people. But if you're not choosing to do that, then you don't really have a specific path and you don't know what you're doing. Not a lot, no one really knows what they're doing, but you just feel so alone in this. And you have to be alone in this. And then what I'm saying is you have to be really committed to your vision, really committed to what you know, and not get confused by people around you who don't know what you're doing, or not get discouraged by the lack of understanding and support. And that is very normal. I'm telling you that is very normal. Because all the people that you admire, for example, just random names, Lady Gaga, Michael Jackson, or G-Dragon, or whoever you adore, all the artists that you adore have gone through a phase where no one really understood what they were doing. No one really saw their vision, like Kanye or ASAP, more names. And that phase of nothingness, like literally nothingness, you didn't see it. That's why you feel like this is not normal, or you just feel alone. You didn't see that phase because there was no one around them. No one, they were not public. They were not like publicly supported then. But everyone, especially who goes on this creative path, goes through that phase of nothingness. And it's very important to understand that this is normal and this is something you go through. It's a rite of passage. Okay? So you don't get discouraged from your big vision. Third, pay very much detailed attention to who you find admiring, who you admire. For example, I admire A$AP Rocky. I admire G-Dragon. I admire Kanye. I admire some other people. And those are very specific people. I'm not just going out and liking all the celebrities. I have very special connection to these celebrities and people. And the importance of that is you find something that's in you that is already being embodied in them. That is the thing that you need to notice. You need to really realize about these celebrities that you like. Oh, I like them because blah, blah, blah. And I have that in me. And they're embodying that in the outer world that you either have not realized or not yet embodying it in your physical reality. Or that you have that, charming, admiring quality in you, deep in you, that you maybe haven't noticed or already, and maybe already embodying it, or maybe not. So that is that is how you use celebrities, right? These celebrities are there to show you what you are, to connect with you about this certain aspect of you, to bring out this version of you that you haven't necessarily accepted. So that's what celebrities are for. Yeah. So those are my 3 points. I think I don't remember anything else that I thought of. So back to regularly scheduled programming. And funny thing is, I did this as a child a lot. I used to look in the mirror and I used to talk to myself a lot, like as if I'm like in an interview. So this is quite very, destined for me. And okay, back to regularly scheduled programming, Jonathan Anderson. Who is Jonathan Anderson? So I am wearing, luckily, J.W. Anderson Uniqlo collab t-shirt from their recent collaboration. They have been collaborating, J.W. Anderson and Uniqlo, since 2017. And some people know that because, when you walk into Uniqlo store, you see J.W. Anderson name. So this is very on topic. So Jonathan Anderson. Why Jonathan Anderson? I knew of him before, of his name. I wasn't quite aware of who he is, what he did, his accomplishments, or, he didn't seem that attractive to me before. But now, ever since this October, or the past very recent Dior show, I was not that attracted to this figure. Ever since then, I am, because I don't know, I see something in him. I see his ingenuity. I I just I just like his creativity, maybe. No, his resolution to his vision. I admire that. Really. That's it. So, Jonathan Anderson is the first person ever since Christian Dior himself to be the creative director of both male and female lines, Dior clothing lines, male and female. Um, and that is the first time ever since Christian Dior, because before that, there were two different people in charge of the male and female lines at Dior. So that is very, very remarkable. So, who is Jonathan Anderson? So, Jonathan William Anderson, that's why his individual his first ever line or brand is called JW Anderson, Jonathan William Anderson. He's 41. He seems to be a Virgo, was born on September 17th, 1984. 41, and he was born in Northern Ireland, Londonderry. So, Jonathan, at the age of 18, moved to the United States to become an actor. He was apparently studying at Juilliard to act. So he was already a very talented person to be accepted into Juilliard at the age of 18. But he fell in love with costume design instead of acting. So he moved back to Northern Ireland. And he moved to Dublin. And then he was working at a fashion department store called Brown Thomas. And then he later moved on to fashion school at London College of Fashion. I don't know if that is a very famous fashion school, but I'm assuming it is because it's called London College of Fashion. And he graduated in 2005. So he was, 21? I feel like this is kind of crazy. Like, how long is the College of Fashion? Is it only 2 years? 3 years? Because he moved to Juilliard he went to Juilliard when he was 18, and then maybe he spent a couple of months there or a few months, I don't know. And then he moved to Dublin and was working at a department store. And then he graduated from London College of Fashion in 2005, so he was 21. So within 3 years, from 18 to 21, he did all that. It's very surprising to me. So after graduation, he was working at Prada, some kind of visual whatever, for 3 years, apparently. And then he founded his brand, JW Anderson, in 2008. So JW Anderson was first founded in 2008, but people were saying that there are some pieces from the JW Anderson collection, very like prototype-ish collection. Like, there are pieces floating around on the market from 2005. And that is when he graduated. So people are speculating that it could also be like his thesis pieces, pieces that he presented for his thesis collection. Who knows? So JW Anderson, that brand was initially only for menswear. I believe that is what he probably had a lot of passion for, menswear, given that he's a man himself. And I think it slowly took traction, but not too long. It didn't take that long because JW Anderson, that brand, was not that unknown for a long time, I believe, because I have heard of it before, and I'm not that old. Apparently, his first collection under J.W. Anderson label, received critical acclaim. In 2010, which is 2 years since he started, Anderson received sponsorship from the British Fashion Council's Newton Committee and subsequently produced his first catwalk collection at London Fashion Week. So it was 2 years. So, yeah. So he did a collaboration with Topshop. Topshop was crazy back then. So in September 2013, 5 years since he started his own brand, LVMH took a minority stake in J.W. Anderson and named Anderson, the designer himself, as the new creative director for Spanish luxury house Loewe. So Loewe, with talking about Jonathan's career, we really have to mention Loewe because to me, that is his, prized accomplishment. I was going to say prize pick, but I wouldn't call Loewe a pick ever. That is not a good analogy. So Loewe is a luxury Spanish leather brand. It used to be just a leather brand. It's not just luxury. It's more of like a Spanish royal heritage thing. It's been in production since 1880 something. Let's go to Loewe. So I didn't hear of Loewe until Jonathan Anderson brought it to its current glory, maybe 2-3 years ago, 4 maybe. And that is to say that I am not a fashionista. I'm not a fashion influencer or fashion passion person. But I do follow from time to time. So I didn't hear of Loewe until fairly recently while, Jonathan was the creative director. So Loewe was founded in 1846. That's 179 years ago. Way, 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 way before what we know, of Loewe now. So in 1905, Alfonso XIII granted them the royal warrant of appointment, and thus Loewe became the purveyor of the royal household of Spain. And so, company quickly grew in popularity and was promoted by figures as Ernest Hemingway, Ava Gardner, Rita Hayworth, Marlene Dietrich, I don't know who that is, and Sophia Loren. So, while during some Spanish uproar or some kind of depression, the Spanish royal kingdom decreed something to Loewe so it can keep producing what it produces, which is leather goods. So that just means it was a very prominent figure in the Spanish market or society. So LVMH required Loewe in 1996. And at the time, Loewe was not producing that much profit. So there's a rumor that LVMH bought Loewe to sell, to market it, to rebrand Loewe to a profitable and attractive figure in the fashion market and sell it to make profit. And that was since 1996. And since 1996 to 2013, there have been a few creative directors, maybe a couple creative directors in and out. And in 2013, LVMH appointed Jonathan Anderson as the creative director for Loewe. So Jonathan's tenure at Loewe is from 2013 to 2025, and that's 12 years. And for sure, without a doubt, Jonathan brought Loewe to its current glory. That's it. Jonathan creates these, very basic, not crazy flashy, but weird things, weird items. There's always this little weird, odd parts to it. So, Loewe, the most popular item now is probably the puzzle bag that they rebranded or recreated recently. The puzzle bag, but it's very, classic bag, classic thing that's been carried on for a long time is the Amazonia bag. And no one really wears Amazonia bags that I've seen, but they still sell it, so I'm sure people buy them. I do want an Amazonia bag just so for the history. A puzzle bag, you've seen it around. Normal. I mean, it was probably groundbreaking at the time. So my biggest love or collection that I love the most from Loewe is its collaboration with Ghibli Studios with Howl's Moving Castle. And I would like to own pieces from that collection. Obviously, it was a limited collection and it's already sold out, done, not producing anymore. So I would have to get it from a secondary market. We'll see at some point. The things that he did at Loewe, like, for example, the shoes, all the different kinds of heels that you see, immaculate, beautiful. I don't know if they're that comfortable to wear, but heels are already not that comfortable to wear. I don't necessarily care about the clothing lines at Loewe, clothing items at Loewe, but I care about the bags and the shoes. The bags are awesome. Loewe. So Jonathan, I believe, redesigned the logo to what it is now with the L and the square. You've seen it on the logo tank tops on people. Before that, it was just Loewe, like the word itself. So yeah, I mean, Loewe bags, they're not that crazy expensive, especially in secondary markets. So that's why I really like that. But also, does that mean it's not an investment? It just loses its value. Like, for example, if you had like vintage Chanel, then it's an investment, and Hermes, whatever. We're not gonna like go into the investment part of Hermes bags. But does that mean it doesn't hold its value? But do I really care about that? No. So Jonathan, now let's move on to the Dior appointment. Jonathan was first appointed as only the creative director for menswear in 2025, like in April. And later on in June, it was announced that he was also going to be the creative director for women's wear. And that made it like a huge thing, right? Oh my God, this hasn't happened since Christian Dior. So Dior. So Jonathan's first collection for Dior was Spring Summer 2026, which just happened. Menswear and women's wear. I think menswear was presented first. Oh, okay. So the first presentation was women's ready to wear for spring summer 2026, and then that was followed by menswear 2026. So the collection was described as a reboot that sought to recontextualize Dior's history and merge the aesthetics of the men's and women's divisions. So what I've noticed from his first collection, both men's and women's wear, is that there's so much redesigning going on. What I just said, recontextualizing old, like what Dior is, or past Dior collections. So Jonathan's first collection for Dior, men's and women's wear, it is about taking inspiration from past Dior collections. It's, including them and somehow, you either using the same fabric or the same shape into the new 2026 spring summer collection. So there's so much of, reminders of past Dior collections. But what I mean is mostly very, not current contemporary Dior collections, but way past. So also what I noticed in these two collections was that there's so much reminders of the 18th century, like Marie Antoinette time. And that is crazy because there's just so much of the 18th century revival thing is going on in this creative fashion art culture. Late 2025. You guys have been noticing, okay, sure, 18th century Marie Antoinette, reels, yada yada. That's fine. That's kind of normal, I feel. But Manolo Blahnik actually released a Marie Antoinette inspired shoe collection recently. And there's other things, maybe other fashion collections that I've noticed that also took inspiration from the 18th century. And there was either a video or a reel somewhere, someone talking about the current socioeconomic state and how that relates to the 18th century. Why are we bringing up the 18th century? And how is that related? Is there this uproar, revolutionary thing happening in our society? Or, economic, what is it called? Recession, economic recession, yada, yada, tariffs, blah, blah, blah. There's a, could that be related to the, wealth gap between people in the society and how that relates to the 18th century? Because, Marie Antoinette time is let them eat cake time, where, the French aristocrats or whatever were, living at large, having decadent meals, decadent parties all the time, while the French commoners were starving to death. So is that is the current state reminiscent of that, or why are we bringing up this 18th century? I don't know. That's just an observation that me and other people are making. So yeah, Jonathan Anderson, I do admire him as a fashion designer and as a person. He looks very normal. He looks like a very normal guy on a daily basis. There are videos of him circling, videos of him smoking and on the phone talking business all around Paris. And it's just, he's usually dressed very functionally, very normal person dresses or clothing. So yeah, Jonathan Anderson, one of the people I admire. Okay, that's it for Jonathan and what I know about him. If you guys are interested, go watch videos on Jonathan and his new Dior venture, because there's so many videos out there, official, non-official. People are talking about this. And this September or this spring summer 2026 collection was a very memorable one in fashion history because there has been so many movements among fashion houses and creative directors switching, going from here to there and there, a lot of movement. So this is a very big moment in fashion history, is what I'm told or what I know. So that's it. See you guys. That's it. See you guys at the. That's it. See you guys in the next video. That's it. So see you guys in the next video. Do I do bloopers? I'm gonna do bloopers. Like seriously, I don't. Jonathan. I think he's gay. I mean, he is gay. But he's street passing, no? I mean, I cared about fashion before, but I'm not like a big fashion blogger. Or I don't know much about fashion history. I don't have to. Do I want to? No. Why am I doing this? I want to. I think that's it. What else is out there? I never liked Dior before. Like Dior was so boring up until now because it was all like old stuffy Dior things. And then like the bags are the bags, like the square bags. And like very stuffy and like classical, you know? Now I may like Dior depending on what he has, but he does good stuff, so I'm excited. My battery's dying. Bye.